Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to calls. So my name is Niall Sands, and I'm the President of Commercial Development and Innovation. I have been in role since January of 2023, and I look forward to this presentation over the next 30 minutes or so to take you all through what we're doing in innovation to fuel our future growth. And with that, it is linked to developing solutions today for the near term, but also with regards to how we're creating new pathways to discover science and technology for an innovative new future and the opportunities that presents us to grow. With that, the team that I lead of commercial development and innovation, we are very much driven by the fact that we will contribute to this revised aspiration in terms of volume outperformance in the specialty category as well as improved profitability. That is the barometer by which we measure our success. And with that, we develop solutions today that are very much anchored in fat chemistry with specific functionality and nutritional performance. We're developing those solutions today for our customers in the near term. But with that, we are also on a pathway, as I said, to discover what are the new futures that are open to AAK as we strive to grow into new segment areas. And by that I mean nutrition beyond infant. Infant nutrition has been our heartland along with some areas of medical for many, many years. But if we look at nutrition beyond infant, by that we mean deeper into medical, exploring pet nutrition and care, as well as pharma. We're also looking at the defossilization and removal of paraffins, as Johan had mentioned, in our core business of personal care, which is effectively a skin health and skin care business, as well as candles. On top of that, we have a program called New Naturals. And our New Naturals, as Johan alluded to, is where we're really deep diving into the market attractiveness and sizing of non-food categories which are anchored in the use of paraffins and fossils today, where we believe there's a cleaner, greener future for those application areas in non-food. That piece of work is ongoing, and we expect to complete that by the end of Q1 next year. We also recognize that as a key player within the ingredient supply chain, it is fundamental that we provide safe food to customers. And many of our customers and consumers are the most vulnerable in society. Those are those that have medical conditions or newborn babies. So with that, the quest to drive higher purification of our oils and fats to provide even safer food is fundamental. In terms of how we fuel our funnel in innovation, over this past 15 months, we've been building the team of commercial development innovation, and we fuel our funnel anchored on insight. This is new muscle, this is new competency within AAK, which we've been recruiting heavily on over this past 12 to 15 months, especially from peer ingredients, but in particular from the flavor industry where this is standard practice. And it's now starting to bear fruit. By that I mean, today we do not rely on market data and insights. We are conducting our own proprietary primary research to fuel that funnel, to better understand consumers and customers in key markets around the world in the technology areas and application areas within which we partake. 3 examples. Nutrition with purpose, exploring the role of medical nutrition in North America. North America has an obesity crisis, and therefore we recognize the essential role that lipidomics plays in nutritional health and the gut microbiota. We'll talk a bit more about this in our breakout. The second one we identify is a global phenomenon that we love to dunk our cookies and biscuits into a hot or cold beverage, and therefore from a functionality perspective, the role that oils and fats plays with regards to that cultural norm and behavior that we have in so many countries across the world. And the third one, which we'll bring to market now on the 2nd of December, is chocolate motivations. Earlier this year, we spoke to 3,500 consumers in 14 countries as to what inspires them to make those purchase decisions in chocolate and confectionery. And with that, we have identified 12 domains that influence chocolate buying behaviour and confectionery buying behaviour. So if you're interested, 2nd of December, with Food Ingredients First, my head of innovation or my head of insight and marketing will be rolling out the insights that we have derived from that piece of work. With regards to delivering on our aspiration for 2030, it starts next year. And what do I mean by that? We have been working on our innovation pipeline for a number of months, long before the Commercial Development and Innovation Organisation was created in January 2023. And therefore, 2025 will be the launch of new product introductions by AAK into the market, into chocolate and confectionery, into special nutrition and health, into plant-based dairy, and into plant-based meat. We will introduce those 6 innovations through the course of 2025, and we expect then commercial impact on contracts in the years following. On top of that, in terms of understanding the world that we live in today, consumers are changing, and we see 3 major trends. One, we're getting older and we're living longer. So therefore, especially in the East, we recognize that for those customers who want to, and consumers who want to remain healthy, with the same vitality and vibrance for life, they need nutritional supplements in order to prolong a healthy, sustainable life, but also through our skin care and health program under personal care, the hydration and the skin protection that we offer through our emollient technology. On top of that, we see millennials and Generation Z. They are now the dominant consumer class. They're more discerning, they're much more deliberate, they're much more tailored in terms of the experiences they're looking for from the goods and services that they procure. And with that then, how does that impact how we formulate products and technologies for our customers, recognizing that our customers see that they are the future shopper going forward. And again, to reiterate the third phenomenon, which is obesity. It's a Northern Hemisphere, Western world phenomenon. We have got in excess of 50% of the Northern Hemisphere and some geographies of Western Europe and the US, which is obese. And again, we believe that traditional science and lipidomics, we have a role to play that will help us deliver new volumes and profit towards our aspiration. And we do all that across 3 time horizons. The near term, 1 to 2 year, mid-term, 2 to 5 year, and longer term in terms of that, let's say, exploratory research and science, which is 5 years and beyond. So this world we live in is changing, and the pace with which it's changing is really ramping up. But that presents itself not just with challenges, but opportunities for growth as to how do we adapt to be that essential ingredient partner for our customers. And to pool these 5 streams together, I see consumer expectations as well as technology being hand in glove. We do recognize that consumers are changing. They're much more aware of the health nutritional impact, labels, etc., etc. So cleaner, clearer labels is necessary. But we also see that new solutions can be developed through technology to produce the food. But we also recognize the influence and maybe the poor influence technology has on influencing new behaviors. And by that I mean we are living in a world and a culture of instant gratification, on-demand goods and services, and the fact that we are time hungry. Our attention span with TikTok is no longer than 15 seconds. So to that end, how do we adjust to these new norms, these new behaviours? Because the buying behaviours of our customers change as a consequence of that as well. They are looking for agile, nimble suppliers that can react to this fast food, fast fashion world that we are now living in today. We also see that consumers are heavily focused not just on affordability, but on sustainability as well. And we recognize these as being foundational. I've been working in the food ingredients and food sector for more than 20 years. And the first 7 years I spent working with British retailers in a B2C supplier. And what I see in today's world is that the percentage of our monthly pay packet going towards the grocery shop is probably higher than ever. So there is an absolute focus on value and affordability. And again, that drives our mindset as to how do we create affordable value through our technology for our customers, anchored with a strong sustainable value proposition. And lastly, policy. Policy derived by the mega corporations in the food industry that we supply through their policies and standards, those brand owners with their brand policies and standards that are constantly being revamped to the changing world that we operate in, supermarkets and private label, massive area consumption, and again, how those private label policies are changing, what we need to react to that. And lastly, in terms of government and government regulation. We have seen it with high salt, high sugar, high fat regulations, the need for reformulation as a consequence of that, as well as EUDR. And therefore, through science, through technology, through reformulation, and ultimately by working with AAK, we help our customers become compliant. With that, we are no longer living in a product economy, but an experience economy in the food industry. And we see the billion-dollar brands that we supply, where we are plugged into, are turning up at experience events. And this has long been a phenomenon within the food industry, where we have seen cooperation in the food service industry sponsor the likes of the World Cup and the Olympics. Nothing new there, around for many decades. But in terms of the post-COVID world, where we all crave better experiences and life experiences and memories, we see the billion-dollar brands in the food industry partaking in experience events, in particular rock festivals and music festivals. And therefore, it is that experience of the brand, how that brand represents the millennials and the Generation Z today that they are tapping into. But much more than that, AAK and our technology, as Thomas alluded to, contributes to the experience that consumer ultimately has when eating that product or using that skincare product. And I suppose it's with that insight we have developed our 5 themes that drive innovation in AAK. Because we recognize the benefit and experience our technology brings to formulating great products and service, be it in food or non-food. The first one being Better Planet. Our customers can tell us how much carbon is being emitted from their footprint. They can tell us how much carbon is emitted from their food ingredient supply chain. And the question is, AAK, how can you help? And we can help, because as you've seen through the commitments we've made to SBDI, investments in bioboilers, verified deforestation free, etc., we are on the path to helping customers decarbonize their supply chains. In terms of better performance, this is linked to the affordability of food and the inflation within the food segment. And therefore, quite simply, you could say, weaken negotiation, you give away your margins. That's not what we do in AAK. Rather, we see this as an opportunity to develop technologies that helps our customers run their operations quicker, better, or faster. By that I mean greater throughput on their production line, or less downtime as a consequence of build-up of fats in the production line. These are technologies and innovations that we are currently working on for our customers to help them reduce their cost of goods and manufacture. Better health. Within better health, as I alluded to, we see many areas to this, but in particular, it's brain development, gut, and joints. So these are focus areas for us beyond infant nutrition. We recognize, again, looking at the science of lipids in the body, lipidomics, that the essential role and the positive impacts particular fatty acids can have on anxiety, blood pressure, diabetes, obesity control, as well as joint health. These are all active work streams that we have in our pipeline as we diversify and release our dependence on infant. We are doing the same in skin care as well, in our personal care business, looking for other areas of cosmetics beyond skin that we can penetrate, and that's still in development. In terms of better experience, we as consumers love and enjoy tasty food and beverage products, whether it's in-home or the out-of-home spend. That indulgent treat, the aroma of that buttery croissant, the velvetness of a smooth chocolate bar, the creaminess of a frozen dessert, the frothiness of your preferred oat-based cappuccino. That is AAK technology that creates those memorable experiences and that functionality. And therefore, that's the realization where we need to valorize better the functionality that oils and fats brings to product applications in food and non-food. And to that end, if you look at those two pillars of health and experience, quite boldly, yes, we are AAK, the multi-house oils and fats ingredient house, but we're much more than that. AAK is a taste company. AAK is a texture company. AAK is a nutrition company. AAK has a solid foundation in sustainability with bold goals and initiatives, and it's absolutely anchored in science and technology. That's what we bring to our customers. And we always have an eye to the future in terms of what does the future look like through biotechnology, fermentation, AI, upcycling, etc., etc. So again, we have 68 projects in our pipeline. And this is our AAK-inspired pipeline. So this is not the co-development process. In the co-development process, through our 3 regions, we have hundreds, maybe thousands of projects ongoing on a daily basis. But we have 68 projects in our pipeline anchored to these 5 themes, be it new technology development, new product development, PhD-sponsored projects. And with that, we are on the discovery phase. We're doing clinical trials, we're doing application trials, and we're seeing the outcomes of those tests. And that will mean that by the time we get to Christmas this year, we will have filed 25 patents to protect our future through the discovery that we have as a consequence of the 68 projects. And what does that mean? Like, does customers see that? Yes, they do. This has spawned recent customer conversations. 2 examples. One in relation to nutrition. We published a paper in a science journal with a breakthrough in particular area of medical nutrition. Global customer reaches out to us, says, really inspired by what you're doing here. We see a potential another application area. Do you fancy working in that project with us? The answer is, thank you for the feedback, and of course we do. The second example would be through the filings that we're submitting for our patent technology and our patent landscape to protect our future. Again, Chief R&D Officer of a billion-dollar food company schedules a meeting, opens up the meeting by saying, we see the IP that you're filing. We read your patents. We like your thinking. It tells us we need you in our supply chain. So again, that gives us encouragement to do more. And with that, we have some projects outlined here, 17 of which what we call our hero projects. And they are segmented based on the 5 pillars. But they also are highly private and confidential, as you expect. So they are coded here. But you will see by design that they're very much anchored into nutrition beyond infant. It's into chocolate and confectionery, where we're trying to drive greater efficiencies to improve the affordability of chocolate for our customers. It's in the plant-based, but it's also in new technology areas of mineral oil replacement, as well as how we can run leaner and greener operations through producing safer, higher purity oils and fats. So this is enabled by people. It's all about the people in the team that makes this happen. And we are lucky in AAK to have fantastic science and technology community, as well as application colleagues, managers and technologists in our centers of excellence. We have up to 20 PhDs qualified in everything from nutritional science, dairy science, enzyme development, biotechnology, organic chemistry, pharmacology. That is muscle in AAK that we're now starting to flex in a much more coherent manner. And that is driven by an innovation process which is much faster, much more iterative, much more empowered. So we feel fast, but we learn even faster. And it's empowered by 3 centers of excellence. Our center of gravity for chocolate, Aarhus. It's the capital of chocolate in AAK. And with that, we have not only great fat chemists, but we have chocolate chemists. Chocolate is chemistry. And therefore, we have the backbone in that team and a passionate team, as well as assets and infrastructure within that CA center to produce any chocolate technology any customer wants. We have the Siemens Zandeck, which produces great tasting plant-based foods, but also dairy. We opened that up in 2023, March 2023, new to AAK, where it's a one-stop shop for innovation. Pilot plant, sensory, culinary application. So with a well-defined brief, a customer can leave us at the end of the day going from ideation to prototype in hand, accelerating innovation timelines. And our newest in Antwerp for bakery, a new centre opened up this year. But the beauty of our Antwerp is that we blend our Antwerp competency with our Aarhus competency, and together we can attack the Choco bakery category that's emerging, and many of our strategic customers are growing in this space. External engagements continue. We use these as vehicles to horizon scan and scout new technology. Big Idea Ventures, MISTA, the European Institute of Innovation Technology, as well as associations with peer ingredient companies and universities. And lastly, internal and external communication about innovation, being more aligned about what we're doing internally, but broadcasting to the world our voice and our opinion on innovation and the insights that fuel that. We also have a lens of the future. And again, I think it's credible for us in AAK as protagonists of change and innovation that we look to potential disruption in this space and ask the what ifs that Johan alluded to earlier from a financial perspective. What if biotechnology becomes scalable? What if cultivation becomes cost effective? Is this, or what if this becomes truly more sustainable than agriculture? These are the questions we're asking ourselves in fermentation, in cultivation, and in Power to X. We're involved in all these areas with the main protagonists and players in this space, and it's an area that we follow closely. So to summarize and to wrap up, innovation at AAK. I'm really proud of the team that we've developed in commercial development and innovation. My leadership team come from the world of B2B, B2C, and food service. But they've also had experience which is fundamental as a global function within AAK, where we have worked in Asia, in Latin America, and in North America for substantive numbers of years. So therefore we bring that regionally relevant understanding to our regions. Suzanne representing BA Europe here today, as well as Octavio, as well as Steen. We have the experience within my team. On top of that, we have our scientific backbone, up to 20 PhDs in the diverse areas of academia that is helping us develop emerging breakthrough science and technology. And therefore then, to enable that, we need those centers of excellence, those application technologists, those customer innovation managers to translate the science and technology into the product application that consumers will love and want to pick up time and time again from the shelf. And our North Star, how we package all this up when we look at innovation through the lens of our customers and our consumers. The 5 pillars of our innovation that is aligned to the benefit and experience that our technology brings to deliver consumer customer-centric innovation. Better health, better performance, better planet, better experience, and better futures. And with that, everyone, this is innovation at AAK, and I hope that was enlightening for you, and I will happily take any questions that you may have.
Yes, I mean, great presentation. These innovations, and I realize there's many different kinds, but do they typically require you to redesign your production process, for example, the one that we saw today, or is it more a question of developing something in a laboratory off the main process line and then sort of adding that as an ingredient to your existing product?
Yeah, so the solutions that we develop typically anchor on the process and technology that we currently have today. And more often than not, it's using existing processing technologies. But within that, new technology development is also part of our repertoire within innovation. And therefore, we're asking ourselves whether we can develop new technologies that'll help us improve, in particular, the purity of our oils. So we actually do both. On the processing side and the new technology side, it's much more around new ways, new processes, new engineering practices. But when it comes to product development, largely speaking, we are using fat chemistry, modification, chemistry changes to the triglyceride, anchored in typical manufacturing processes.
So, from a non-engineer's
Yeah.
perspective here, do they typically require you to, if you launch a product innovation or want to launch a product innovation, do they require you to redesign the entire, production
No.
process, or set up a new mini process alongside the one that you already have? Or
We use the existing footprint,
yeah,
and therefore these are plug and play to the existing footprint of our factories.
wonderful. Thank you.
Hello. Just a quick one. I thought it was a very good presentation and very interesting innovations. But some of these things are not new. If you've talked, AAK has talked about medical nutrition, about plant-based for a while now. So what's changed? What's different now?
Yeah, so plant-based as a category continues to see a dichotomy within the overall plant-based foods category. And within that, I mean plant-based meat and plant-based dairy. Plant-based meat consumer pickup at the point of purchase continues to stagnate, and it hasn't had the penetration that we're all hoping for. But that doesn't stop us developing new technologies in this space. Plant-based dairy continues to grow, and we do very well in that. But what gives me more encouragement than anything, having done a business review quite recently in plant-based foods, is the sheer penetration that we have had in this market. I would safely say there is no key player in the plant-based foods world in Europe and in North America in particular where we are not the supplier of choice. So with plant-based, I would say the challenge is more consumer pickup and penetration and frequency of purchase that'll drive that. Within medical, we have a medical business in addition to our infant. But where we're at now in terms of our vision for medical has been much more specific, much more clear, much more focused on exactly what we can deliver through our science and technology. And therefore, we've talked about quite simply brain, gut and joint health. And with that, we have restructured, reorganized, recruited in order to drive greater penetration in the development of those technologies.
Plant-based meat, for example, the products aren't good enough today. That's my take on it, right? And that's where Niall, his innovation team, and our technologies come into play. As we have with dairy, which is a completely different, more mature market, right? So this is the way forward to actually get to what you're asking for, right?
Hi there. Thanks for the presentation. Just going back to the product launches that you talked about for next year in 2025, can you maybe just give a bit of color in terms of the sort of go-to-market strategy for these new products? And I guess maybe provide a bit more detail as to how the pricing strategy for these AAK innovations would differ to those of a co-development with some of your customers.
Yeah, great question. So these are AAK-inspired technologies. And when we go to market, you want to be bold, you want to be creative, you do things differently. And hence, my direction to the team is that whenever you look at our customers and how they launch new products into the market, we should be equally proud and have a similar mechanism that's appropriate for the B2B world. So you can expect that we'll be investing in marketing communications, in webinars, in events like FIE, where we were present last week in Germany, showcasing these new technologies. So the go-to-market approach, which will be driven again by our insights and marketing team, and they're actually the start and end of the funnel. So they fuel the funnel from the inside, but they are actually the drivers that create those marketing programs that bring the product to market. So they will be professional product launches that you would expect to see of a specialty player in the ingredient space. In terms of pricing strategy, these are differentiated products. These are products that we've invested time in over many months, in some cases years, to develop. So in terms of the margins that we expect, it would be incremental to a product that we would typically do with a customer through the co-development process.
We have one over here, I think.
Just wondering, in the 67 projects, is there anything in there that you could actually just license to clients, or is the idea that AAK would make absolutely everything?
In these examples, we would make absolutely everything because it is fat chemistry. Licensing would be maybe, which we could have done years ago with a technology where it's incumbent upon having a particular piece of equipment to make the technology work. That does happen in the ingredient industry, and that's where we would partner up with an equipment manufacturer in order to realize the technology, because it brings something different that traditional equipment doesn't do. But in the models and in the products that we are launching next year, this is based on in fat chemistry and the design of fat chemistry and triglycerides to provide specific functionality, again, in chocolate, in nutrition, plant-based meat and plant-based dairy.
But I think just to add on that, this is here and now, if you will, even though it's future sales in terms of launches. But what we're calling for a bit in the sustainability arena, we're calling for more collaboration between ingredient players, but also policymakers. Right? How do we really work together? So we are open to, and we are engaging in more of a collaborative innovation together with other ingredient players and customers. So I could foresee in the future that we might enable solutions where we could offer that. We might, together with another ingredient pair, come with a solution, but it makes more sense for a customer to work on it or to produce it themselves. Not today, but we are quite open. We want to be that player. We're moving from a bit, back to your question up here before, we're moving from a bit reactive, if you will, to more proactive, forward-leaning AAK taking charge. And that could include also different types of innovation solutions. So I think with that, there's one or two questions more, and then we wrap it up here, because there's plenty of time to actually deep dive with Niall, with other colleagues from the executive committee on these certain topics. So one or two questions more. Sorry, you wanted to add something?
No.
Okay. If there is one or more. All right. Everyone is kind of hungry, eager to get to lunch or a technical break, so we respect that. Niall, thank you.
Thank you.
Thomas, thank you.